Let's make a ChatGPT bot with Discord.js version 14. The first step is to log into your OpenAI account. Click on your username near the top right and select View API Keys. From there, click on Create New Secret Key. Give it a name. I'll name mine Worn-Off Keys Tutorial. Click the copy icon. Note that if you lose this key, you'll need to make a new one. You should already have a .env file in your project. If not, then create one to hold your Discord token and your recently created OpenAI API key. Let's listen for new messages in our ChatGPT channel. If you don't have this channel yet, then make one in your test server. Note that this function needs to be async. Also, the second part of our if statement that checks for bots is very important. Without it, your bot will infinitely respond to itself. Try typing in your ChatGPT channel once your bot is running. Your console should print any text you are sending. We now want to fetch all recent messages in the channel to send to OpenAI. This way it knows the context of the conversation. This code will fetch the most recent 25 messages, reverse the array, and then log the text content of each message to the console. We reverse the array because the fetch method will access the messages from newest to oldest. We want oldest to newest to make it act like ChatGPT. Send a few messages in your ChatGPT channel and watch the console with and without calling the reverse method. This will make it more clear why we need it. And if that didn't work, then ask for help in our Discord community. A link can be found in the description or the pinned comment. OpenAI has a limit to the amount of tokens you can send to it. A token is around 4 characters. If we go over this limit, then an error will be thrown, so we want to count the tokens as we read all of our messages. Create a new file called counttokens.js. This will export a function that will count the total number of tokens in a string. We're now going to have a fairly complex regex string. You can find a link to this string in the description down below. We'll also create 2 more variables. Match will hold the result of the regex check, and token count will hold the current amount of tokens. We'll now loop through each token in our string, increasing the token count as we go. Finally, we return the token count when we're done. The next step is to install the OpenAI package. Open a terminal and run npm install OpenAI. This is the official package that allows us to use the OpenAI API. Create a new file called openai.js. This file will handle calling the API. We'll have 2 parameters, the messages and the model. The model will be GPT 3.5 Turbo by default, but you can pass in a different model if you want. Keep in mind that different models have different pricing. The messages will be an array of data that represent a conversation for OpenAI to reply to. Next, we need to set up OpenAI near the top of this file. Pass in your API key. I named mine OpenAI_key in my .env file. If you named yours something different, then be sure to change it in your code. Finally, we create an OpenAI object which we will use to call the API. Finally, we'll call the API by passing in the messages array and the model. We'll then return the response text. Import the 2 new files near the top of our index file so we can use them when new messages are sent. Let's create a few variables. One to hold all of our messages which will be sent to the OpenAI API. One for the max number of tokens that the GPT 3.5 Turbo model will accept. And a final one for the current number of tokens that we see as we loop through the messages. As we loop through the messages, we can count the tokens per message. If the total tokens plus the new amount of tokens would not exceed the max tokens, then we can process the message. It's very important to add the current message's token count to the total tokens. Also within this if statement, we can add an object to the GPT messages array. This object will contain a role and content property. The content is simply the text of the message. The role will either be assistant or user depending on if the message was sent by a bot or a human. We're almost ready to test things. Before we do, be sure to log the GPT messages to the console and try typing in your ChatGPT channel. You should see objects printed to the console. At this stage, you'll only see user as the role unless a bot has sent a message in your channel. Let's now call the OpenAI API passing in our GPT messages. We'll log the response to the console. Let's try this out in Discord. Type a basic question in your ChatGPT channel such as, "What color is the sky?" or "What is 2 plus 2?" Note that we're not sending the bot's reply in the channel yet, so ChatGPT will only see your questions and not its answers. With that said, it might answer previous questions multiple times because it sees them all as one question. Want to add a website dashboard to your bot? Or maybe you want to monetize your bot but you're not sure how. Check out our Level Up Your Bot course. We cover command handlers, secure hosting techniques, dashboards, and monetization. Join hundreds of other students with the link in the description. It's finally time to send the OpenAI response to the user. You can access the channel with message.channel. You might note that we slice the response to always fit in Discord. Longer replies from OpenAI might throw an error without this check. A final tip for those who watched until the end is to use message.channel.sendTyping to make your bot act like it is typing. Go ahead and try asking ChatGPT some questions such as basic math or the color of the sky. Your bot should start typing and eventually reply. If you want to customize this bot further with buttons, then be sure to check out this video next.